Welcome, heroic friends, to another Blogging It Up. My name is Robert, and this is my review of G.I. Joe. I didn't grow up watching G.I. Joe. I wasn't a G.I. Joe kid. But I was going through all my old graphic novels the other day, and I found one I bought like 2 years ago I never read. It was a Transformers and G.I. Joe graphic novel. It takes place in 1939, and it has new origins for the characters of Transformers and of G.I. Joe. So there's a bit of character background I slightly understand from that graphic novel. I haven't finished it, so my knowledge going into this new movie is very limited. So if I get anything wrong or I ask you guys for information, please post the answers below in the comment section. So the film begins with Destro, who runs this company called Mars, and Mars makes and sells weapons. Now Destro makes this new weapon, which is like a grenade. Once fired, it explodes, all these nanobots come out and they start to eat away anything. I mean, these things can destroy a whole city, and you can't stop the nanobots until they're programmed to. He gives these weapons to the military, and Destro's plan is to steal them back, so he earns money and he still has his weapons. It was Duke and Ripcord along with their team that were meant to deliver this nanobot technology to the military, but Storm Shadow and Barnes comes along, they fuck everything up, they kill loads of people, there's mayhem, there's chaos. Duke and Ripcord are like in Schitt's Creek until the G.I. Joe team come along and they save Rip and Duke, but Barnes and Storm Shadow get away with the weapon and they bring it back to Mars. Now Duke remembers Barnes from another lifetime, which I'll get to in a few minutes. Ripcord and Duke, they want revenge because these sons of bitches just killed their team and they didn't complete their mission. Duke says he wants to complete his mission and he knows things on the Baroness. So General Hawk decides to put them through training, see how they do. And of course they pass with flying colours and they join the G.I. Joe team. Now it's up to the G.I. Joe team to stop Mars from going ahead with their plans. One of the things I liked about this movie were the flashback scenes. A few of the characters got them. Duke and Barnes got a few flashback scenes, and in their flashback scenes we found out that Duke and Barnes were once engaged. Aw, how cute. Duke decides to propose to the Baroness on one of the worst nights ever, because the next day he's getting shipped off to the war. Duke, you could have waited until you got back to propose, because you'd be back, you're alive, your fiancé doesn't have to worry about you dying in battle. But Baroness makes it worse for Duke, because Baroness in this movie has a brother, and his name is Rex, who is also in the military. I don't know if Baroness ever had a brother in the comic books or the cartoon. If she did, leave a comment below. She says to Duke, "Duke, whatever you do, bring back Rex alive." That's the one thing she wants him to do. And he makes a promise, "I will bring back Rex alive." Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow also get their bunch of flashbacks. In their flashbacks, they're little kids. And Snake Eyes is living on the streets. He's really, really hungry, and he breaks into a martial arts school. He breaks into the kitchen area and starts to steal some food, but he is seen by Storm Shadow. Now these two little kids have big massive martial arts fight in the kitchen. There's no explanation as to how Snake Eyes as a kid knows how to put up a fight against Storm Shadow, who's in this martial arts school. Snake Eyes seems to know martial arts. I don't know how. It doesn't explain. Eventually the martial arts teacher catches these two fighting in the kitchen and he says to Storm Shadow, stop fighting. If someone's hungry, you take them in, you take care of them. And eventually Snake Eyes goes under this martial arts teacher's wing, and thus the rivalry between Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes begins. At the beginning of this movie, there's actually some cool action scenes when Duke and Ripcord's team get attacked by Baroness and Storm Shadow. There's another action scene after that, like a couple of minutes after that, which is pretty decent, but one action scene in this movie was absolutely mind-blowing good. You may have seen in trailers and stuff, it's the Paris scene where Ripcord and Duke are in their accelerator suits. People didn't seem to be a fan of the accelerator suits, but it really worked in the Paris scene which lasts a good 10 minutes. There's a good 10-minute action scene, and it is on bloody real. I mean, if you're going to put down money to watch this movie, I'd put down just to watch this action scene alone. It's the best part of the whole movie. The Paris scene reminded me of the Transformers 2 scene of the forest, because like the forest scene was so freaking awesome. All the action after that was just not as satisfying. And it's the same in G.I. Joe. The Paris scene is so amazing, but after that, the action isn't appetizing. Thank God there was so much action in this movie, because the dialogue was so shitty. I loved Transformers 2, but I'll be the first one to admit that the dialogue was shitty. But at least, you know, the movie made me laugh, and the crowds I was with were laughing as well. With G.I. Joe, I did not laugh at the humour. Everyone else in the cinema were not laughing. I didn't think it was funny. Marlon Wayans had one or two okay lines that were kind of funny, where you're kind of sitting there going, ha, and that was it. But, you know, if you've seen Van Helsing, if you've seen the Mummy, then you can understand what kind of humour is in this movie. And because the dialogue was so shitty, you could tell the actors gave their best at what they were given. But I'll start with Channing Tatum, who was Duke. I thought Channing Tatum was fucking terrible in this movie. He delivered the dialogue so badly. I mean, I felt like he was reading off like a cue card or something. Like I said, Marlon Wayans gave a few lines to chuckle at. I heard a lot of people bash that he was in this movie, but I thought Marlon Wayans was pretty good. He was one of the better actors in this. Joseph Gordon-Levitt did a pretty good job as well. He played Cobra Commander. He had this like breathing mask on, where like when you first hear him, he's very deep voiced, but when he takes that off and he puts on his other mask, he has a voice that kind of resembles Cobra Commander's Chris Latta's voice, but he puts his own mix to it as well, and I really like that. I forget the guy's name who plays Deathstroke. I know that he was in Heroes as the Invisible Guy, and he played the Doctor in Doctor Who. I forget his name, but he was, in my opinion, the best actor in this movie. He sold his character for me. He played a great Deathstroke. I mean, if you're a Deathstroke fan, I think you'll be very satisfied with what he got. He only gives off one bad line of dialogue, and that's near the end when he gets his Deathstroke silver face. But you know, the guy did a pretty freaking good job, and I thought he was great as a villain. Dennis Quaid plays Hawk, but Dennis Quaid's barely in this movie. He's a few scenes, doesn't do much. Also, another guy I really liked in this movie, he played Zartan. Zartan is a character in this movie. He's like the master of disguise. His character wasn't in it much, but I really enjoyed his character as well. And the guy who played the Mummy in the Mummy movies plays Zartan, and I thought he was freaking good. Brianna Miller was decent as well as the Baroness. I thought she did a good job. But like I said, the actors were given really shitty dialogue. They did their best with it. Channing Tatum made the dialogue sound a lot worse than what it was. I hope he gets recast, because he is just a useless Duke. Overall, I thought G.I. Joe was okay. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't good either. It's just a fun, brainless movie. If you're like me, and you got time to spare on the weekend, and you got the money to throw down, then go see it. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye.